John Calipari is leaving Kentucky for Arkansas. Has to be major news. I started seeing it by some people I trusted yesterday, and I shared it to you guys, and everyone, you guys, and even Weddle and them were like, no way, that's fake, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, my boy who sent it to me, I don't think it was fake. Here's what I've heard from some inside sources, especially, we have a couple guys on this show that are in NCAA head coaches. So I've talked to some of those. Just let everyone understand who we have on this show, men's and women's side of things as far as college basketball. And I'll give you some takes that I won't say who said it, but I'll give you some takes. Jerry Jones involved. A, Arkansas alum, big money guy. Walmart's involved. B, that's where they're from. Bentonville, Arkansas, not too far away. C, Tyson Foods is involved. Also, one of the biggest food companies in the world who uses a lot of crazy shit. Anyway, there was one in Garden City, Kansas. Now there's one in right there in Arkansas, University of Arkansas's back door. These are $3 billion industry-owned company people. Jerry Jones, worth about whatever, $10 billion. You got Tyson Foods, billions. Walmart, billions. All involved. So you can take that for a grain of salt. You can take it for what you want. I don't believe anyone's going to bring that up on mainstream media yet, but I'm letting you know first, those are the three enticers that got him to leave because he just left. Not only the same conference, Smitty, the same division. You are in the same division. That is a shit sandwich you just gave Kentucky. I'm going to go to Arkansas, who has had a good coach. Musselman just left for USC, which proves my point before when I said the head coach at USC left for SMU. You don't go from LA to, no offense to SMU, right, if it's not a problem. And you definitely go from Arkansas to USC to get out of Arkansas to LA. So make it make sense. Let me go back and rewind to what I said about that last week. Now, Musselman leaves Arkansas, goes to USC because why? It's LA. Number one. Number two, you don't go from Kentucky to Arkansas when we're talking about football. You just, I'm sorry, basketball.
Basketball, yeah.
You do it for football, but you don't do it for basketball. Let's just keep it real. Football, maybe, Smitty. Basketball? What? Arkansas ain't been good since Nolan Richardson and Thurman and Corliss Williamson lost to UCLA, my Bruins. They ain't been good since. So why would you go from Kentucky, the team that puts out more NBA talent than anybody, to Arkansas? Well, you do a deep dive. There's a clear and plain disagreement with the head coach and the AD at Kentucky. Calipari and the AD haven't got along for years from what I've heard. Number one. Number two, maybe he's at the point to say, listen, I don't want to go out like a sucker and everyone calling me a recruiter only and a shitty coach. I'm going to go to Arkansas with billions dollars backers, and I'm going to go build a culture, and I'm going to start something up my way, fresh, and I'm not going to just bring in one and dones. I'm going to come try to bring a culture in. I'm going to still bring the best players that I could bring, but now I'm going to create a new culture with a new, fresh start. That's the only thing I can think of, Smitty. But what, and I'm going to let you go, but here's my thing. Whatever happens tonight, Smitty, when this deal gets done, apparently it's a 5-year deal to go to Arkansas. Here's what I'm going to go out on a limb and say. If Kentucky's AD and president aren't on a G4 right now to the national title game and hand Hurley a blank check to become the head coach of Kentucky, I'd be shocked. And whatever this blow does, this spiral of this wave that's going to hit college basketball tonight after this national title game is going to be a historic one, because Calipari leaving Kentucky is going to make this landscape become what I've been telling y'all it is, and it's the most watered down product we've ever seen. And you're going to see now a huge, huge climate shift in college basketball. And I think Hurley is going to definitely listen to Kentucky. Only trails UCLA in national championships. The blue blood of blue bloods. There's no way you can't listen. Number one. Number two, who goes to UConn? Who goes to Purdue? Does Purdue's coach go to UConn? There's going to be a shitload of things that happen tonight, and I'm just making that prediction right now. So, Smitty, go ahead. What's your take on this?
Real quick, because I know we got a very special guest they're about to bring in real quick, but listen, I'm with you, man. At first, I was just when you sent the link over, I'm like, "What? This makes no sense. Why would you go from stay in the same division, go from a powerhouse in Kentucky to a lesser school?" But now, what I'm hearing right now, and shout out to our producer Bailey in the background, is that allegedly Calipari will be getting around probably $6 million for NIL at Arkansas, which is definitely on the higher end when you compare it to other universities and what other college basketball coaches are getting. So that's one benefit. I'm seeing from a salary standpoint, it's going to be very comparable to what he was already getting at Kentucky as well. So my only thing is that makes sense to me is what you said, JB. He's trying to continue to build his legacy. He's been in Kentucky since I think 2009, if I'm not mistaken. He's been to multiple Final Fours. I think 12 out of 15 seasons he was there. He's made it to the tournament, but he's only won one natty. So he's had top recruiting class but only got one national title. So a lot of people look at him as kind of a letdown because he hasn't really done enough. So maybe this is his way to prove that he still has it and be able to get a bigger NIL deal, get from underneath that AD that he's not getting along with the Kentucky, and kind of rebuild the legacy, so to speak, moving forward. So,
Jeff, how you doing, Jeff? I appreciate you jumping on early. I know you got to go to BetUS. Everyone wants Big Jeff on because he is a great betting extraordinaire. Make sure you go follow all our bets on Winnable. You'll get some of Jeff's picks as well all week long. Jeff, how you doing, brother? I appreciate you hopping in here. Real quick, what's your take on this Patino thing that seems to be happening in front of our very eyes? We don't know what's going on, but what would you feel like if you're Musselman and you see that he's going to get $6 million and you just left for SC because they wouldn't pay you?
Calipari, not Patino. Calipari.
Yeah, I don't think Patino ain't going to Kentucky.
All right, no. I meant Calipari. Sorry.
Yeah, no, sure. Look, I'm blown away that people feel that this guy's worth $6-8 million. I've said before, the guy can't coach. He just can't.
Let me pause. Let me pause you real quick, as Smitty would say. Let me pause you real quick. I know why they pay him this money, because at the end of the day, retrospectively speaking,
right,
you bring in a bunch of NBA talent and they go on to the NBA, your brand becomes a brand, and that's why Kentucky's become so iconic because of the Anthony Davises, the Bookers, the John Walls. So that's why I think. Go ahead, sorry.
No, sure. You're 100% right. And we've seen that at other schools too. Penny Hardaway is a horrible coach, but he gets number one type kids to go there. And for a lot of people, that's what it's about. And you're right. It's going to help a lot. But what also helps considerably with your program is going to the Final Four, going to the Elite Eight, going deep into the tournament.
Winning.
This Kentucky job is so interesting because I think the top choice has to be Danny Hurley. Now, obviously, you're not going to make a move to Danny until after tonight's over. I would think he would be the guy. I think if it's not him, it would be Nate Oates, which, that would be really interesting too. We forget, all right, these are all major rivals, right? Arkansas, Kentucky, Alabama and Kentucky. As you alluded to, it is going to be a big shift as far as the climate in college basketball. And then, again, all these other jobs are going to open up, right? So, yeah, it's a wild thing.
Yeah. It's not only the SEC, and I could see if you're Kentucky, and then I could see a team that's not in your division. They're in your division, meaning you're playing them twice a year, and then a third time in the SEC title game possibly. They are a in-division school, not only just conference. They're in your division. This is telling you how bad college sports have become, and that's why I say college sports is over as we know it. Because end of the day, you never would see this in the world. You would never see this. The teams wouldn't even allow it. The presidents wouldn't even go for it. Nowadays, like, oh, yeah, come on over. Play me January 6th, I believe they play each other first.
I think, look, in the end, if it's not Danny Hurley, I would probably look at Scott Drew at Baylor. He's a guy that I think Mark Few, I think his name could be involved here. And don't think they're not going to call Billy Donovan as well. Billy Donovan's a guy I think that we could see make a shift back to college basketball again. I mean, we have to remember he was an elite coach at Florida. He's an elite college coach. He'd be a guy I'd look at as well.
Now, I know friends of mine who have told me that these are NBA players that I know that have told me that Donovan will never coach college again. He has no interest because of what's happened and transpired. He does not want to deal with the current landscape. Or he said he would have never left college. He saw the writing on the wall, and so has Coach K. And Coach K may be one of the smarter ones, other than Billy Donovan, to get out when he got out, because he saw the writing on the wall. Just like Saban, just like Chip Kelly, just like these other guys. They don't want to do it no more. They don't want to be the head coach and deal with all this shit. Hurley, 51 years old. He's a family blood heirloom. I mean, this family goes deep. His daddy, we played him in high school, St. Joseph's. And plus, we played DeMatha, those two powerhouses on the East Coast. We would play here on the West Coast. His dad's been known since I was in high school. Both sons, one's at Arizona State now, hasn't had the same success, but did well at Buffalo, got the Arizona State job. We'll see what he ends up doing. But obviously, Danny is the one that is everyone's going to come after. But I would not be shocked if Kentucky comes with a blank check tonight. I would be at the game and say, here, what do you want? Because this is what it's become. It's NIL deal. We're going to pay the players the same thing. Why wouldn't we go after the coach that is won back-to-back national titles if that's what they end up doing? Even if they lose tonight, which I don't see happening, I still see them giving him whatever he wants.
He would be the first choice to me. Again, though, they have the pick of the litter. They're Kentucky. They are the biggest name, essentially, in college basketball. They have whatever they want, and they're going to be able to choose whoever they want. I'm surprised they hadn't did this earlier. Calipari has been a mess for a few years. He gets a new start somewhere else. Again, very surprised that it's Arkansas, but that's going to be a great game, in January or whatever, as you said.
Yeah, did you hear why? Did you hear why my sources told me and why he's going to Arkansas? Did you hear me start off the show with that?
I didn't hear it, no.
So Jerry Jones is apparently involved in giving a lot of money to get him. Arkansas alum, billionaire. Tyson Foods, one of the biggest food manufacturing companies in the world, is right there. And then Walmart, Bentonville, Arkansas plant, home of Walmart. All three of it are involved in giving basically unlimited resources. NIL money will be unlimited. Those are $3 billion entities. And now you have unlimited resources that no one can match in the country. I would venture to say nobody can match those three wallets. So that is one huge enticing.
We have to remember a lot of big boosters in that area. I mean, the Walmart family, what are they? What's the Waltons?
Waltons. All three are worth $60 billion.
They're literally like one of the big richest families on the planet.
Yeah, all three. I think all three of them are worth $60 billion a piece. Just imagine what the dad was worth before he died.
I got to tell you, I've said before, I think that's a sneaky great place to coach, man. That's an elite university as far as fan base. It's just they got a bunch of money in Arkansas there. That's all there is there, right? It's SEC. It's the highest level college basketball.
I never knew that. I never knew Arkansas was like a money place. That's correct. I never thought about
money. That. It's money, Smitty, but it's just kind of in a shithole. It's like Musclemen don't go from Arkansas to USC for no reason. And that's why I told you last week, SC's coach don't go to SMU for a reason. Well, they LA for fucking SMU just because of shits and giggles. It's not an uprise. It's a fucking get away from Bronny James, get away from his daddy and all this Hollywood shit, and you go to SMU where nobody's really going to know me.
Keep in mind, Muscleman also is a guy who he's kind of a mini Calipari. He's a guy who gets a bunch of kids to come there. He's a good guy as far as, transfer stuff. He gets a lot of those kind of kids, and he has new teams every year. It's hard to field teams and put them together and get them all to work cohesively, but I think everybody's going to be happy in the end. And look at Muscleman. He gets to go to Southern California, better quality of life as far as the weather, that sort of thing. So I think everybody will make out in the end.
Yeah, I agree.